Scromiting.
Look, here's the thing. I'm really glad you brought this up. This is legitimate 100% factual information. It's not reefer madness. It is 100% real. The reason it's getting traction and the reason it's brought up and the reason that we have the word scromiting is because people a lot of times in cannabis can't admit that there are things that are not positive about cannabis.
Right. Yeah.
And so if you talk to some of the nurses and doctors and stuff that have worked with cannabis patients and been in the cannabis industry for several years, this is not something new. This is not something that popped up in the last 12 months or 18 months or anything. This has been well documented.
Wow.
The thing is that we now have more adult use. We have more states that have legalized, and some of these states happen to be in media capitals of the world, like New York.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
And it's just like caffeine or sugar or anything else. Whenever energy drinks became hugely popular, 15, 20 years ago, all of a sudden you started having an increased number of reports of heart palpitations and allergic reactions to caffeine and stuff like that. It wasn't that caffeine was new. It wasn't that all these things had never happened to anyone before. It was that it wasn't in the public sector because it wasn't as popular, and so it was only on the rare occasion that someone really overindulged in and was drinking 15, 20 sodas a day to get the same level of caffeine. We're in a place where the weed that we have now and the gummies and the tinctures and the products that we have are not the same as what they were in the 60s or 70s. They're really not even the same as what we had whenever California legalized medical, and they're in many ways not even the same as what we had whenever Colorado legalized adult use. So what happens is you take a real thing and you increase the number of people that are exposed to it, and it increases the frequency, not by percentage, but just the overall frequency. If you have one poisoning happen because somebody ate a Tide Pod, that's one poisoning. But if all of a sudden you have 25 happen, that pales in comparison to the 10 million people that use Tide Pods, but it's still a 2,500% increase over one.
That's so true.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. It is coming across as reefer madness because people are like, so, all of a sudden getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just exposure. And so the best thing that we can do for scromiting is to stop saying scromiting and to let everybody know this should not be treated as like the sky is falling crazy conspiracy theory. It should be recognized as something that does happen to people, and that a lot of times there's a very simple explanation to it. And the best way to address things and destigmatize and normalize is to not act like things don't happen, but to be realistic and pragmatic about what's happening. What's happening is not every person who is consuming marijuana is having this reaction. What is happening is that select people are having this because there's an increased exposure, or they're exposing themselves to an increased amount for the first time. That's the reality of it.
That's it. Okay. Thank you for the explanation.